Hey everybody, welcome to our channel Living in Richmond, Virginia, where we show you exactly what it's like to live, work, eat, and play right here in our VA.
In this video, we're going to tell you all about the Midlothian area.
And we will divide Midlothian into two halves and compare and contrast Northern Midlothian and Southern Midlothian.
We'll show you the major commercial areas within each.
Go over the real estate stats, give you the pros and cons.
And we're going to take you through a total of 9 neighborhoods within both Northern and Southern Midlothian.
This is a really long video, but if you are looking to learn more about the Midlothian area, this is definitely the one you should watch.
A good amount of our relocation clients end up purchasing a home within Midlothian, and today you'll get to see if Midlothian could work for you.
If this is your first time to our channel, welcome. I'm Sarah Jefferson.
And I'm Taylor Jefferson.
And we own and operate Jefferson Grove Real Estate.
We are your Richmond relocation experts, and no exaggeration, we have helped hundreds of families relocate to Richmond from all over the world.
You should definitely check out our Google reviews and see what our clients are saying about us. And if you're thinking about moving to the Richmond area, here are 3 things you need to do.
The first is to download our free Richmond Relocation Guide. It's full of useful information all about Richmond and the surrounding areas.
The second thing to do is visit our YouTube homepage and look at our playlist that says Start Here. And at a minimum, give those first 2 videos a watch. After doing so, you will have a much better idea of where you might want to live and where you will find homes matching your search criteria.
The third thing to do is to explore our other playlists with videos that focus on the areas that you identified as potential good fits from the second step. Or just give us a call, and we can very quickly help you hone in on what would be the areas of best fit for you.
Now, with all that said, let's get into today's video and compare and contrast Northern and Southern Midlothian.
We tell this to our relocation clients all the time. Richmond really makes it difficult for out-of-towners. There are so many areas within an area with overlapping Venn diagrams and names. People will ask us, tell me about Chesterfield. Is it nice? Or which one is better, Chesterfield or Midlothian?
And our first response is, well, what area in Chesterfield are you talking about? Chesterfield County is gigantic. And if you look at a map, there are a ton of separately named areas located within Chesterfield County.
You have Midlothian, Moseley, North Chesterfield, South Chesterfield, Chester, parts of Bon Air, and more.
There are even some areas where you could say, I live in Chesterfield, I live in Midlothian, or I live in Moseley and not be incorrect.
So today we're going to focus on the Midlothian areas. And while Midlothian isn't that large compared to Chesterfield County as a whole, Midlothian is very large compared to a lot of the other suburban areas around RVA, which is why we're dividing it up into 2. Midlothian is comprised of 3 zip codes. 23113 is the area to the north, 23114 is the middle of Midlothian, and 23112 is predominantly the southern Midlothian area, but there are exceptions within that zip code.
Rather than breaking the areas down by zip code, we're going to use the Highway 76 and Old 100 Road as the dividing line to separate Midlothian into a northern half and a southern half.
The reason we're doing it like this is for conformity and to create as much of an apples to apples comparison as it relates to each area's proximity to its respective commercial hub, or bubble as I call them.
The residential areas to the north share proximity to the excellent commercial bubble located along Midlothian Turnpike.
And the residential areas to the south share proximity to the commercial bubble located along Hallsley, Route 360. And if the neighborhood you choose to live within is close to our dividing line, Highway 76, then it becomes a choose-your-own adventure as to which commercial bubble you might frequent the most. We have talked about both of these commercial areas in Northern and Southern Midlothian in a lot of our videos before. And if you're already familiar with them, feel free to skip these next 2 chapters to get into the real estate part of the video. So, if you're still here and watching, we're going to start with the Northern Midlothian commercial bubble located along Midlothian Turnpike. We would rank this commercial bubble the second best out of all the suburbs around Richmond. And the only thing really holding it back from first place is the fact that it's a little less commercially dense than Short Pump. But that's okay, there is still plenty here. We highly recommend to download our relocation guide and look at the pages in the middle that have starting and ending addresses for each of these commercial bubbles. Jump onto Google Maps and input those addresses, and you can zoom in and see everything that's located here. So, starting at the western edge, just past Highway 288, there's Westchester Commons. Westchester Commons has a ton of strip mall type buildings with a bunch of restaurants, fast food, banking, gyms, and more. Along the perimeter of Westchester Commons, you'll also find a Target, a Petco, and a large movie theater. Then as you head east along Midlothian Turnpike, you'll pass by a little bit of nothing before you get to the Winterfield Park area, where there's an older Kroger shopping center and a much newer Publix shopping center to the south. And to the north is Winterfield Park, which has Aldi grocery store, and then one of my favorite breweries, Triple Crossing, Wong's Tacos, and a few other things too. Continuing to head east, you'll pass by a Food Lion shopping center, a really nice American Family Fitness, and then you'll arrive at a Walmart, a Sam's Club, and a Wegmans shopping center. After that, it's a ton of car dealerships, and then you get into the Chesterfield Town Center, which is the mall for Midlothian. North of the mall, there's a Costco, a Lowe's, and a Home Depot, another Publix anchored shopping center, and a very large Kroger shopping center with another one of our favorites, Wood and Iron, which has some of the best bar food in all of Richmond. Now, you could keep going further east on Midlothian Turnpike, but it would just become duplicative, with so many of the same types of stores reappearing again and again. And the areas from Westchester Commons to the Chesterfield Town Center are definitely the more brand name areas of the northern Midlothian commercial bubble.
So, let's head south to the Hull Street Road corridor, which is the commercial bubble for the southern Midlothian areas and the Moseley area too. We would rank this commercial bubble third best, and the reason for that is it does have everything you need for daily living, but maybe not everything you want. It's lacking in the unique one-off restaurant experiences that Northern Midlothian and Short Pump have to offer. But again, it's not like you're living in those restaurants or the mall, and those more exciting commercial areas aren't a terrible drive away from Southern Midlothian. Starting just north of Highway 288 in Hull Street Road's intersection, you can find a BJ's Wholesale Club, a Walmart, a Home Depot, and an Aldi. Then heading southwest and just passing Highway 288, there's a large strip mall with a Target, a Kohl's, a movie theater, an Old Navy, and a Fresh Market. From here, the Hull Street Road commercial bubble stretches out another 4.7 miles before you reach the end of civilization. Along the way, you'll pass by a Food Lion shopping center, a Kroger shopping center, and two Publix grocery store anchored shopping centers, an old one and a new one. Plus, there are dozens of restaurants located along Hull Street, but as mentioned, they aren't quite as exciting as those offered within Northern Midlothian, Short Pump, or the city. There's also a huge Walmart shopping center with a ton of other retail spots. As mentioned, this area truly has everything that you need for daily living, but again, perhaps not everything you want. So you might have to travel outside of the area for something specific.
And that is a great segue into the cons for this area, which is traffic and the location at large. Hull Street Road is notorious for its rush hour traffic, and the reason is there are so many residential areas that feed off of Hull Street, so it is a lot of cars. There's also a ton of stoplights, which both help and can hurt traffic flow. There are times we hit every green, and times where it feels like we only hit the reds. So the further southwest you live along Hull Street, the more you feel this con because you will deal with more stoplights before getting to the highway, and potentially adding more distance to your destination. Additionally, traveling northbound along 288 can be problematic during morning rush hour, and 76 can also back up as you get closer to the city. We highly recommend jumping onto Google Maps and charting your morning and evening commute at the time you would actually be driving to see if there would be any backups along 288 or 76. And this holds true for both Northern Midlothian and Southern Midlothian. Many of our relocation clients that choose to live in the Southern Midlothian area work remotely and don't have to deal with the morning and evening rush hour commutes. But if you do, then you should absolutely check your drive time.
So now let's get into the real estate. The overarching theme would be that homes in the Northern Midlothian are larger, newer, and more expensive than those within Southern Midlothian, but there are always exceptions to the rule. Northern Midlothian's average sold price for resale single-family homes over the past year was $705,000, but that doesn't tell the whole story. There is a wide price range starting from low $200,000 to just over $2 million, so there truly is something for everyone here. The average size is over 3,100 square feet, and the price per square foot is higher than in Southern Midlothian, sitting at $223 per square foot. In part, that is because the further north you are, the less your potential commute time could be, so the market values being further north. The average year built in Northern Midlothian is from 1995, with the majority of the range being from the 1970s through the 2020s, and the year built will vary neighborhood to neighborhood, budget to budget. But so again, on average, Northern Midlothian is larger, newer, and more expensive than Southern Midlothian, but there are exceptions where you can find cheaper, newer homes, larger homes, in Southern Midlothian dollar to dollar. But there will be a reason for it. Either location is not as good or the school systems aren't as highly rated.
Just like the Northern Midlothian area, the averages skew the full story in Southern Midlothian because of the extremes on the lower end of the ranges. There are plenty of newer construction neighborhoods within Southern Midlothian where you can get a relatively good deal, but there are a couple of large, older neighborhoods from the 1970s and 80s pulling the average year built towards the older side, as well as keeping the average price on the lower side too. Pricing in southern Midlothian is lower than the northern Midlothian parts, with the price range from $200,000 to just over $1 million, and the average sold price is much closer to the lower end, sitting at $438,000, which is 38% less than further north. Looking at the median price of the southern Midlothian area, which is even lower at $415,000, that means that 50% of the homes in southern Midlothian had a sales price below $415,000. So if your budget is a rate limiting step, this is a great area to look within. Just don't expect a huge home on the lower end of that price point. The homes in southern Midlothian are 33% smaller on average, so that does explain part of the drastic price difference. But as mentioned, the averages don't tell the full story, and there's still neighborhoods where you can find really good sized homes that aren't from the 70s or 80s with a lower cost per square foot than the homes further north, and we'll go over a couple of those neighborhoods too. Now, let's get into some of our favorite neighborhoods within each area. Starting in the northern Midlothian neighborhood, we're going to visit Hallsley, which is one of my absolute favorite neighborhoods in all of Richmond. We love the way the neighborhood was developed and all of the green space that remains. For the most part, you'll find luxury, custom-built homes within Hallsley. Over the past year, there were 29 sales ranging in price from the high 700s to over $2 million. And based on what I've seen over the past few years, the high 700s is pretty much the floor on pricing here. These homes are on the newer side, so expect to find a lot of craftsman-style homes with open concept floor plans and very nice finishes. This is not a cheap neighborhood, with the average sold price from the past year sitting at just under $1.3 million. But that will deliver a very large home. If you don't need all that square footage, it is very possible to land below that average price. The Hallsley neighborhood is probably the second best HOA provided amenities, second only to Magnolia Green. But Hallsley's location is way better than Magnolia Green because you're much closer to the northern Midlothian commercial bubble. This is one of my absolute favorite neighborhoods around RVA, and we love showing homes to our relocation clients here. If/when we decide to move again, Hallsley's on our short list.
Next up, and still pretty expensive, is Tarrington. Tarrington is located along the Robius Road corridor, surrounded by lots of other really nice subdivisions. We absolutely love Tarrington's entrance, especially during the springtime. Tarrington also has a very nice clubhouse and community pool. Plus, at the back of the neighborhood, it has access to the James River, where you can launch a canoe or kayak. Over the past year, there were 22 sales in Tarrington, ranging in price from practically $700,000 to almost $1.7 million. You can find more normal-sized home here, but typically if you're looking within Tarrington, you're looking for square footage, and Tarrington will deliver. But you should expect to be doing some cosmetic updating. There are plenty of homes from the early 2000s, and the average year built in the neighborhood is 2011. So lots of the homes do feel somewhat dated, but not overly so. The price per square foot is about 10% less than Hallsley, so there is a discount given for that fact.
Going a step or two down from Tarrington, there's Charter Colony, which is a large master plan community with a lot of different sections, or villages as they're called. Each village has a unique value proposition, from low-maintenance, age-targeted homes to large McMansion-esque homes. Just like in Tarrington, expect to need to do some cosmetic updates since the average year built in the neighborhood is from 2006. The highest price sale in the neighborhood over the past year was $745,000, which is a relatively low ceiling on pricing. You get a really good bang for your buck here, and the price per square foot is 25% less than that of Hallsley. It is a very nice neighborhood that's been well maintained, and there's a lot of deals to be had here, so long as you don't mind doing some updates. We did a deep dive into this master plan community, and if you want to see more, give our Tour of Charter Colony video a watch.
Going to the much lower end of the price range, up last for northern Midlothian is Walton Park. Years ago, we included Walton Park in our Best Neighborhoods of Midlothian video, and it's because it's such a great starter neighborhood. In fact, yesterday we showed a local client a lovely home that was super nice and updated in Walton Park and listed for only $460,000. The lot sizes aren't huge, and the homes are smaller on average than other neighborhoods mentioned previously, but the prices reflect that. The average sold price in the past year was $478,000, and that would get you 4-bed, 2.5-bath home, probably colonial-style floor plan that's almost 2,300 square feet. And that is just the average, which means there'll be homes below that price point, like the one we showed yesterday. Given its average year built of 1984, you can also expect to find mature landscaping, which adds to the neighborhood's appeal, and its location is super close to the Midlothian Turnpike commercial bubble. If you're okay with older homes from the 1980s, you can find some great stuff here. So let's head to the southern Midlothian neighborhoods, and we'll start at the northern end of the area with Rountrey. We jokingly called Rountrey the working man's Hallsley, but it's true to an extent. Rountrey is also a newer construction neighborhood with the exact same average year built as Hallsley, and about half of the homes within Rountrey were custom built. So the home and layout are excellent. Just like Hallsley, there are great HOA-provided amenities within it, but the big difference between the two neighborhoods is the location and the neighborhood's overall appeal. The lots are a little smaller and more of them are clear-cut in Rountrey. As such, the average sold price is well below that of Hallsley, sitting at only $712,000 and delivering almost 3,300 square feet on average. Given its location in the northern side of southern Midlothian, you aren't super convenient to either commercial bubble because that neighborhood is practically right in the middle of both. Price points reflect that and have yet to crest the $1 million mark, so if you liked Hallsley but are limited on budget, you can opt to go with Hallsley Light here in Rountrey.
Now, we're going to make a hard left turn and discuss a wildly different neighborhood, and that is Brandermill. Honestly, I feel forced to even discuss it, but Brandermill is a gigantic neighborhood full of lower-priced starter homes, and it is one of the original master plan communities within Richmond. Out of the almost 500 sales in southern Midlothian, 126 of those were within the Brandermill neighborhood. So again, I do feel compelled to bring it up. It's a 70s and 80s neighborhood, so it's well established, and you'll find a ton of mature landscaping and large trees, and floor plans matching that year built range, including lots of contemporary cedar-sided homes and colonial-style homes. Now, we have gotten a lot of flack online for saying this, but the cons here are foundation problems due to shrink-swell soil. Plus, there's hardboard and cedar siding, and plenty of the homes from the late 1980s have polybutylene piping. We actually had a person leave a comment on one of our videos where we mentioned this before, and they said that we're lying, that we haven't seen what we've seen or experienced what we've experienced, and that their home inspector said that their Brandermill home had one of the best foundations he's ever seen. I don't know who they hired, but I've never heard an inspector talk like that. We aren't trying to be fatalistic though, and we know that it's not like all the homes are about to collapse or anything. It's just it's highly likely you could have a very large expense fixing a foundation. Ultimately, we would not buy in this neighborhood, and if you're curious about our thoughts, there they are. But if you want to discuss some more, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to explain the pros and the cons.
So let's say you like the look and feel of Brandermill. Well, then we would point you in the direction of these next two neighborhoods. The first being Woodlake. Very, very similar to Brandermill, Woodlake is located directly across from the Swift Creek Reservoir, and we have found there to be less foundation problems within this neighborhood compared to Brandermill. Now, foundation problems still exist in Woodlake, but far less commonplace than in Brandermill. This neighborhood is from the 1980s and 1990s, and therefore you will still find mature landscaping and heavily wooded lots just like Brandermill. We do think this neighborhood is beautiful, and the market would agree that it is better, given that its average sold price is a little over $40,000 more than Brandermill's. For a mid-$400,000 purchase price, you can get a pretty nice home here. School systems are excellent, and the neighborhood has a really nice community-provided HOA amenities too.
Now, the second neighborhood we would point you towards if you said that you liked Brandermill is definitely our favorite as far as the older neighborhoods go in this area, and that neighborhood is Foxcroft. Foxcroft is located adjacent to Woodlake, which is why it has a similar feel. Foxcroft homes, however, are slightly newer with an average year built of 1996, but the lots still remain wooded with mature landscaping. You can tell that it's an established neighborhood, and the lots are a little bit larger than both Brandermill and Woodlake. The average sold price over the past year was $566,000, which is quite the jump from Woodlake and Brandermill, but the average size home was 600 square feet larger than Woodlake, so we would agree with the market and place more value on this neighborhood over Woodlake and Brandermill. Walking paths, tennis courts, playgrounds, and community pool are all available within Foxcroft. And bonus, we've yet to bump into a house with foundation issues within this neighborhood.
Up last is Collington. Collington is a much newer neighborhood where you can get an excellent bang for your buck. The average price per square foot was the lowest of the video, sitting at $192. Over the past year, a total of 35 homes sold within Collington, and the ceiling on pricing was $615,000, and the average sold price was sitting below $500,000. In return, you can get a home from around the mid-2010s with 4 beds, 2.5 bathrooms, and 2,600 square feet. The neighborhood also provides a community clubhouse, basketball courts, and a pool. The reason for the price per square foot difference is that the high school that Collington feeds into is not well rated. So this would be a good fit for anyone looking for newer and cheaper homes without need to utilize the high school anytime soon. And directly across the street from Collington is its sister neighborhood, Collington East, where you can get even newer homes built very recently, but of course for a little bit more.
Whew. That was a long video and a ton of information, and I am not excited to have to edit this and make it pretty.
We have shown and sold homes within all of these neighborhoods you saw today, plus a ton of additional neighborhoods located in Midlothian that weren't showcased today.
Check out our Midlothian playlist on our YouTube homepage if you want to see what else is out there.
And just as an FYI, the Moseley area shares a lot of the same pros and cons as the southern Midlothian area. And if you're thinking that either could be a good fit for you, be sure to watch our video, The Pros and Cons of Living in Southern Midlothian and Moseley, to learn more. We hope that you enjoyed this video and learned a lot. And if you're considering relocating to the Richmond area,
especially the suburbs around Richmond, be sure to reach out to us.
The western suburbs of Richmond are our bread and butter.
We have the knowledge and expertise to help make your move as stress-free and easy as possible.
As always, thank you for being here with us today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.